What is up, people of the internet? This is Luke Catwalker here, coming to you with a new video. And in this video, we are going to be talking about Mulan 2020. Remember that movie? Yeah. So on August 9th, I stated that Support Mulan, the movement that was dedicated to supporting the 2020 Disney remake of the 1998 classic Mulan, was back in action. And this is the first video in the comeback, so let's go. One thing I know this movie gets a lot of hate for being different from the original and a lot of other stuff, including the myth that Mulan is Mary Sue, which we already debunked. But I wanted to touch on a certain scene in the movie, one that is particularly empowering and actually brilliant. It's the Mulan revealing herself scene. No, not after the battle, the one where she shreds her armor. Now, I know some YouTubers have already had their hot takes on it. Heck, even Eric Carter made a video on it. Eric Carter, love you, man, but here we're going to be defending that scene. So, roll with me here if you're watching this video. I hope I can defend it for you. So yeah, a lot of this movie gets hate, but people don't, it seems like only the fellow supporters like us of this movie are pointing out this scene. It's really powerful for Mulan. I'm gonna see if I can play this scene for you. I'm not sure if I can play the whole thing, and if this gets blocked, it gets blocked. But I might have to edit it and post or something. But here's a little snippet of that scene. Okay, so let's talk about it. It's obviously a huge nostalgia trip because not only is Mulan riding in the battle, we got the Reflection music playing in the background. Harry Gregson Williams, the composer of the movie, he played Reflection over it, the trailer version of Reflection, actually. If you guys aren't aware, in the early trailers of Mulan, in the first official trailer, there's this background track set to Reflection in the original movie. Yeah, so it plays here. But I think this scene is more than a nostalgia drug. It's actually really empowering, and the way Mulan reveals herself here actually works better than the original. Yep, you heard me right. This works better than the original movie. Let me explain. So, after her fight with the witch, Shan Lang, maybe? I already forgot the witch's name. We're just gonna call her the witch. So, after her fight with the witch, Mulan is understandably wounded. Her comrades and her fellow army soldiers are fighting the Ruran invaders out on the icy tundra, and Mulan gets up, removes the whatever thing that the witch impaled. I don't know if it was a dagger tip or what. And then she looks at her sword. All right, now earlier in the movie, when the soldiers were reciting the Oath of the Warrior, loyal, brave, and true, Mulan was unable to say true. And that actually has some significance to this scene. Because Mulan wasn't being true to herself. Now, the thematic message in both movies is be true to yourself. Heck, even the end credits song of the original hammers that in. So, with that, so with that in mind, many people seem to overlook this version in favor of the original, where she just gets discovered. While the character moment of her Mushu talking about their failures is very nice and touching, I don't think it's as powerful as this moment here, because, well, why, well, why, why should it be? I mean, this moment's clearly more powerful because Mulan chooses to reveal herself. Sorry, there's this construction going on in the background, but yeah. So Mulan chooses to reveal herself instead of only embracing it once she's been discovered. And that speaks to the message of being true to yourself really nicely. And it's even quite brave of her to do too, because her disguise was everything to her, as Eric Carter pointed out in his video. Yeah, and yeah, her disguise was everything. That's clear. If she was to reveal herself, she would be killed, as she almost was. So imagine the absolute bravery she must have had to take off her armor and reveal herself. Her power, her chi is in full swing by this point. Right? She's embraced who she is. She's no longer hiding who she is as a person. She's going out there and fighting. She rides her horse. She chucks each piece of her armor, each piece of that armor, or a part of her disguise. Each piece representing her discarding a part of her disguise, a part of the false persona that she had embodied for so long, and then letting her hair loose, go loose, letting it fly in the wind. We have this slow motion shot of her riding into battle. Her face being of the shade being replaced by clear sunlight. Right, overhead shot. We got the as the soldiers are fighting. We have this Mulan rides into battle. We have this overhead shot of the witch in bird form, staring down at Mulan. Earlier, the witch was like, "You will die," pretending to be someone you're not. And in this moment, Mulan chooses to not be her false self. She chooses not to be someone that she's not. She chooses to be herself. And in the moment, she kicks a spear that a Roran soldier throws at her, and then she starts massacring Roran soldiers all around as the music is swelling. By now, it's gone out of reflection, but the music is still powerful. Compare that to the original. While the original reveal is extremely heart-wrenching, and it definitely is heartbreaking, I don't think it has the same significance. Keep in mind, Mulan gets discovered. Mulan gets discovered in the original. She doesn't choose to reveal herself. Her identity is unmasked. And that's not as powerful simply because, well, if you're doing a message about revealing yourself, do you want to teach kids that it's only okay to start being yourself once you've been discovered, or do you want to teach them to choose to be themselves? Here's what I'm saying here. Is it more powerful that the protagonist chooses to reveal themselves, or is it more powerful that they just get discovered and then only after no one believes the disguise anymore, then they choose to believe in themselves and do all that? I'm not dunking on the original here. The original Mulan is a classic. I'll Make a Man Out of You is still my favorite song, and it's a bummer it wasn't included in this version. But I think it speaks more to the message of being yourself, being true to yourself, being true. True. That third message, that third mantra on the sword. I think it speaks more to the message of being true to yourself when you have the character choose to reveal themselves, and how powerful director Nikki Caro made that scene. I still get goosebumps, even though it's been 2 years since the 2020 Mulan came out. I still get goosebumps upon this scene. This is my favorite scene in the whole movie, and yeah, they do let her off like they do in the original because she's the protagonist. She's got to live, but despite it lacking the same amount, but despite her being, despite the fact her being left behind lacks the same impact as it did in the original, I'd argue the actual reveal here is more impactful. There's a reason why supporters of Mulan 2020 exist. There's a reason why we as a movement exist, and we love this movie simply because it updates and improves on the original. It does a lot of things better. Some things it doesn't do better. Some things, but a lot of things it does. And this scene is one such part. I can rewatch the Mulan reveals herself scene over and over and over because it's simply that powerful. It really speaks to the message of the movie. The message is the same in both versions, but I got the message here. In the original, I only knew that was the message of the movie when the end credits started. Like, be true to your heart, that's when the heavens fall apart. It's a really great song, but I think this moment really speaks better. Like, you're free to disagree with me. If you disagree with me, don't be shy. You're free to disagree. But this is why I personally believe that this moment is all the more impactful for it. If we just did a copy paste like, if we just did a copy paste like in the original, like say the Commander Tongue finds out Mulan's a woman, omened by, I don't know, maybe seeing her practice alone one night, or I don't know, just by some other wizardry. Would it still have the same impact? I'd argue no. The music definitely plays a big part, but the thematic context behind the scene and how the scene is shot, and how it leads into that gorgeous action scene with the avalanche. This is one of the main highlights of this movie. So, I'm really happy that they went this angle with the movie. Now that I've fully defended this moment, maybe that'll encourage you to give Mulan 2020 another chance. Obviously, that's the goal of this movement, to get you to give it another chance. If you still don't like it after giving another chance, that's on you. But this movement is all about giving the movie a second chance. So if this inspires you to give the movie a second viewing with this context in mind, I'm hoping it does. Then I have accomplished the goal of this video. So once again, Mulan 2020 is a really, really terrific film. It's more accurate to the original ballad. It's more serious. And grounded. It's really everything. It's really everything you could want from a live action remake of Mulan. So yeah, the 2000. Before any of you say anything, the 2009 film doesn't count because it's not from Disney. That was, by all intents and purposes, a wholly different telling of the film. But for an adaptation of the original 1998 film, this film more than soars. This is why I, as a representative of the Support Mulan movement, will always say that this film, when it landed on Disney Plus, will always be terrific, and Mulan truly brought honor to us all. It was worth that. It's worth the $30. it was worth it then, and it's still worth watching now for free if you haven't. With that being said, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe to be updated on future content, and we'll see you all in the next video.